This is Hidden Killers Year in Review, a look back at the biggest stories of 2025. This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
Welcome back as we continue to break down the Richard Allen prison phone calls with the false confessions on. And if you've been listening in order, which I would highly suggest going to the beginning of the series and doing that, because it's a breakdown. You're going on a spectrum here of on the edge of breaking. I made the analogy in the last video. It's like a vase that tips over on a table and starts rolling. It already has some cracks in it because it tipped over hard, and it's rolling and rolling to the edge. And either it's just going to disintegrate as it goes, or it's going to go over that edge and shatter into a million pieces. We started with Richard being the vase tipped over, and now I feel like it just fell off the edge. How many pieces is it going to go into? Here's the next call. In the comments, let us know what you think is going on here. The humanity of this is heart-wrenching when you think of if you believe he didn't do it. And again, I don't know how anybody objectively looks at the evidence and thinks he did it. The humanity of this, the torture that this man is going through, and the everlasting scars that will be in his mind, his wife's mind, his kid's mind. For what? Because you needed to get somebody? Gotta find the boogeyman? And then you all screwed up so many times, it's like, well... Or is this a cover for something else? Is this a cover for somebody else? What the hell? I mean, the guy who was the predator guy who was going after one of the girls and said he was going to meet her there that day. Took you several years to arrest him on completely unrelated charges. And then Ron Logan died. Despite all of that. So let's go get the CVS pharmacy tech with no history and no evidence against him. Seems legit. Let's keep listening. And yeah, comments, let's hear them.
GTL.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, it's me.
Yeah.
I need to know if you still love me, baby.
Yes, dear.
Okay.
Sounds scripted.
And everybody else will as well? Honey?
Yes.
Because I may have to spend the rest of my life here, or...
Stop talking about it, please. That's not true. Okay? Okay?
I don't understand. I just got to know that everybody's still going to love me.
Feels like somebody's gone.
Because I may only be able to see you one last time. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you. It's not true.
It's true, honey.
No, it's not.
Yes, it's true, honey.
No, it's not. You're not wrong.
I'm well.
No. No, you're not.
Yes, I am, honey.
It gives me the shivers.
I just hope that you'll still love me, because I may only If I get the electric chair, or if I get the death penalty,
No.
This-
No, honey, that's not going to happen. No.
if it does, will you be there for me?
I swear to God, somebody's there going,
No. It's not going to happen, dear.
Do what?
and he's drugged out of his
Right.
mind.
They messed you up so bad.
That's why he sounds comatose.
It's okay, honey. I did it. I did it, dear.
Stop.
I cannot stop. I've got somebody here listening to me right now, dear.
No. You did it.
I don't.
I'm sorry, this doesn't only sound like a false confession. This sounds like a forced confession. This feels like somebody was sitting there with a notepad and he's drugged up, and that's why he sounds like a fucking zombie. And work your way down the list. And then if there's some, other things like break up what you want to say with something that sounds semi-normal. And then back on track. I just want to say this. I just need to say that. He's leading the whole conversation. She's reacting. And there's pauses. And then he continues. Again, it almost, as I said on the other video or on the other call, it feels like it could be a soundboard. But they got a bunch of reactions from him, comatose, place the call. Because if she does ask him something, there's a bit of a delay. Now, again, if you're in this comatose state, which he's in, super drugged up, eating his feces at the time and running headfirst into concrete walls, you might be a little slow to answer the question. That might be there's so many angles on this. And the most important one is this happened to an innocent man. He was not convicted when this sort of torture was going on, in solitary confinement for more than a year. Taunted, mocked by the guards, didn't have access to his attorneys. It was insane. And this is happening in the United States of America. Let's keep listening to this call.
I killed Abby there.
No, you didn't. Stop. Stop saying that. No, you didn't.
I knew I was supposed to let you go. I was trying to let you go.
Stop. Dear, we're going to be back together.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I hope you're always going to love me. No matter what. Will you always love me, baby?
Who's with you? Who's with you? Who's with you? Who's with you? You need to stop talking. If your lawyer's not there, you need to stop talking. Who's with you, honey? Who's with you?
Thank you for using GT. Hi.
So there's that one. And this is what so many people are like, see, he confessed. He confessed. He confessed all those times. He confessed. Did you ever hear those confessions? Well, it says that you did it. No, the answer was no. Until now, no, you didn't hear them. Now you did. See how tone makes such a difference? You know how we text everybody now? Think about that a little bit. Just the tone, the context, the emotion that you put into things matters. Let's go to the next call.
Sure.
Hello?
Hello? Hi, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, how you doing?
Oh, I'm all right, I guess.
Yeah. It's good to hear your voice.
So did Kathy tell you that I did it?
Again, just kind of no reaction. Just
We're not going to discuss this, okay? Are you there?
looking for the next
Yeah,
thing
I'm
to
still
tap.
here.
Yeah.
Right here, Richard. Say this one.
We love you. You know that, don't you?
Regardless?
Yes.
And do you know if Kathy's okay?
Kathy's doing okay. We've been holding each other up.
I'm just worried that you guys aren't going to love me because of the fact that I said that I did it.
Ricky, I just know you're not in a good place right now. And I'm praying for you, and we will always love you. No matter what.
This is a Crime Circus presentation.
But just saying it doesn't mean you did it.
Well, it does when I did.
Rick, don't talk like this. I think they're just messing with you.
No, Mom, they're not. I love you, though.
What are you doing? I love you too, hon. I just know you don't have it in you to do something like that.
Mom. I wouldn't sit here and tell you I did it if I didn't.
Well, if they're messing with your meds and all that, yeah, you would. But we're not going to discuss the case anymore.
So if I did do it, then you guys don't love me anymore?
I will always love you no matter what.
Okay.
And that you can count on that.
Okay.
There's nothing that would make me ever stop loving you.
It's good to know.
Are they letting you call again?
Well, right now I am.
Have you gotten any of my letters?
I'm not really getting mail anymore. Again.
I write you every day.
Great. There's something else to share with my therapist.
Oh, they're letting you talk to her again?
And they always have been letting me talk to her.
Oh. Just once a month or on a regular basis?
No, she's coming and seeing me every day.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear.
All right. Well, I'll let you go.
Okay, hon. I love you.
Yep. Tell everybody else I love them.
Okay. Bye, hon.
Bye. Okay.
Hello?
Then we go to another call, and we'll go to that in just a second. Thoughts on that one? Very much the same monotone. Yeah, I mean, I think he's so drugged up. He doesn't know up from down. Well, he's also at the same time, like I said, eating his own poop. This is how much they broke him. And then said, "Oh, you're broken. Say this." When he already said before he was broken that, if they break me, if I will say whatever I need to say to protect you. And he did. After they tortured a man. Here's the next call.
Hello?
Hey, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Need to get you some coffee.
Yeah.
Get your coffee or snacks or whatever you need, babe.
Oh, I hate spending that money when I don't even know where it came from.
It doesn't matter. It's in there. I wouldn't worry about it. Somebody's thinking of you, so I wouldn't question it. Oh, Lord. What a mess. Good grief. Just when I think I've got everything, I don't understand my thought process on clothing. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid. It's stupid. Trying to get better about that. Oh, Lord.
We're not even hearing him at all. It's like that's how more comatose he's gotten.
What did you have for breakfast or lunch today?
Oh, had some kind of eggs this morning. It looked like
Yeah.
something fairly normal. So weird talking to you.
What, sweetheart?
So it's just kind of weird talking to you.
Why? Why would it be weird?
I don't know. Just everything's weird in here anymore.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I've lost my mind, gone to hell or something.
Well, kind of live in it right now. It's not a good place to be in. Not a good place at all. And I don't have much say in anything, I'm sure.
But you know that I done it, right?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. Okay.
This is what they call
Can we have a
confessions.
good conversation between us? No, just don't. Just. I guess it doesn't matter what I think, but
Of course it does. Just in a really frustrating spot right now.
right.
I said I'm just in a really frustrating spot right now.
Mhm.
And I know that that's nothing compared to where you're at. So I'm not trying to.
No, your side is a lot worse than mine. I have freedoms that you don't have, so I'm not going to go there. And I feel guilty about that.
I don't know why nobody will talk to me and be honest with me.
This is a Crime Circus
You're
presentation.
not going to get that there, dear. They've already got the mindset. Don't care. You didn't do it. That's just prison. They're just another number. But
I just don't feel like anybody's willing to be honest with me anymore. Like everybody's afraid to hurt my feelings or something.
I just think people have to be very careful when they talk. And we all do.
Yeah.
If I could get a chaplain in there to pray with you, would that be okay? I mean, I've been trying to get a hold of somebody, but of course nobody ever answers. You have to go to voicemail. Then it's full. So, but if I could get,
I had a chaplain pray with me once, but it just doesn't seem to help me any.
Well, and it's okay because, I mean, praying to yourself is going to be very helpful. It's helped me immensely. And there's people out there praying for you. So you just got to pray the bad thoughts away, hon, and try. The demons are fighting hard to get you.
I know. I feel like they've already gotten me. I'm already in hell.
No. Well, you're kind of in physical hell right now, but your soul doesn't need to be. It's God, not anybody else's. I understand that.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I have a question of the Bible that you got me about asking it. Because I've got another one in here now. It says the Holy Bible, and it says basically the same.
Thank you for using GTL.
Hello?
That was the end of that call. An ever more incoherent Richard Allen. Clearly, dramatically different than the man that we heard arguing for his life with the detective that, you know, Richard, back when I was a boy, I dreamed of catching a killer, and I never did. So I'm going to make you my killer, because I am the law. Okay, he didn't say that, but in the made-for-TV movie, where John Stamos plays the law, but still looks like Uncle Jesse for some weird reason, I don't know. That's how that's going to go down. Let's go to the last call and hear how bad this gets.
Hello?
Hey,
Hey,
what's it? Hi.
I did it. Captain,
What?
I did it. Do you still love me?
Yes, dear. But you didn't do it.
Why do you say that?
Why do you say it?
I don't want to upset you.
I'm already upset.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I've lost my mind.
Honey, you can't call me and talk like this, okay?
You hear the howl in the background? That's what he's hearing every day.
I'm so sorry, baby.
I can't talk to you right now.
I didn't want to do this. Honey, I'm sorry.
Live with that shit 24 hours a day
You're not going to do anything to yourself, are you?
in a small box
No.
for a year, more than a year.
Probably going to have to help now.
Stop. You can't be calling me and talking like this.
You don't have anything to do with it.
It doesn't matter.
Why are you so mad at me?
I'm not mad. I'm upset. I'm heartbroken. Big difference.
I can't tell you what's been going through my mind. I feel like I'm already in hell. was waiting on the Bible from you, but I don't understand what's going on.
Neither do I.
I guess I'm just going to have to stop calling. I'm sorry.
It's like he's fading off into being a ghost.
Okay.
Can't call me honey if you're going to talk like that.
I'm going to talk like what?
I can't be talking.
Thank you for using GTL.
And that is the entirety of this batch of Richard Allen prison phone calls. Pet your puppies. Take care of your kids. Take care of the people you love. Because Richard Allen could be any of us. I think that's one of the scariest parts of the Richard Allen story. It could be any of us. He was a normal, average dude. Seemed like a nice guy. He's trying to do the right thing. Raised a little girl that still loves him. Has a wife that loves him. No history of anything. Nothing found in his digital devices that would point to anything. You know, like all those other people had. That, you know, had nothing to do with it. And they tortured him to that. In the United States, Delphi, Indiana. Judge Fran Gull, the presiding judge over it. She's a winner. Not biased at all, or just doesn't give a shit. I'm not quite sure. It was just blaze through this case, get this off my docket, and or what's going on behind the scenes? I don't know. Is everybody just that entrenched in we did it right and nobody can admit that we did it wrong? There's so many questions in this case. If you've just found this one and you want an unsolved mystery, this is an unsolved mystery. Although there's a lot of arrows that point to where it should have been solved, but instead they completely veered off on their choose your own adventure book. They had the choose your own adventure book and then went to a different choose your own adventure book and tried to pick up page 26 when you should have stayed on this one. Because this one does not relate at all to this one. Comment section, let's hear what you got. We're going to have a lot more videos on this. This is a case that we are never going to stop covering until we, believe here on this one that justice is served, and it has not been. Just another life destroyed and ruined. But why and for what? And those are the questions that we will keep digging into. You've got questions. We hope we have answers. Press subscribe. Give me your comments. I'm Tony Bruschi. Thank you for watching.
Craving non-stop true crime updates? Press subscribe now and get the latest cases, analysis, and expert commentary delivered straight to your feed, only from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. This is the Big Breakdown, a long look back at some of the biggest stories we're covering for you at the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today. This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.
The bridge guy, that's been a big piece of the Delphi murder case against Richard Allen from the beginning, despite it doesn't really look like Richard Allen at all. But it's been presented in a very ominous way all of this time, in a way where we hear and see on the screen this bridge guy ominously saying, "Down the hill," while he is behind the girls on the bridge. The reality is that never happened. He didn't say that ominously behind the girls as he was walking along the bridge. No, he actually said it in passing, as the girls had already talked about wanting to go down the hill. This is a crazy, crazy video. Now we've seen it in its entirety. I know you saw it in court, Bob. They played the whole thing, correct? In court?
They did.
Okay, so that at least was there. But leading up to this, all we saw was this 6-second edited version that was played over and over and over. And they said, this is the bridge guy's the killer. I got questions about how we even came to that conclusion, too. Before we dive into it, let's play the bridge guy video in its entirety, and then we will discuss. We're going to put it down over here to a full screen, and let's watch it. Here we go. And listen. So there's the girl on the bridge. There's bridge guy way back.
See, this is the path that we go down. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Let me break that down a little bit in case it was hard to hear. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here. The first person to say they want to go down the hill is the girls. It is not Bridge Guy. Bridge Guy is not like pressuring them to go down the hill. He's not like chasing them or stalking them. He looks like he's just a guy off walking on a day when there's probably a lot of people out there walking because it was a warm, late winter day. And then you hear him pass them, and he does a friendly, "Hey." And they're looking down the hill, and he goes, "Yeah, down the hill." Which I think I would do too. If you're walking out in the woods and there's two girls looking confused as to where the path goes, and they're pointing and looking around, and you know where the trail is, yeah, down the hill. There it is. And you keep going your merry way. But somehow that, which we've now finally been allowed to see by the powers that be of Delphi, the magical Oz, it's not at all what was presented to us for the last however many years. Bob, what's your reaction to this video now that you've got a chance to see it outside of court and had a chance to like review it more in depth?
Yeah, I was paying attention to you right there, but I sent you a version I think has better sound.
Okay.
That maybe you want to plug in where we watched that. It's got significantly better sound. I had some people up the sound.
Okay.
And send it to me. Yeah, you know, when I sat in court, and from what I understand, this is the original. And remember that there exist 3 versions of this video.
Okay.
4 if you're counting what they put out to the public, the 3-second clip of just Bridge Guy that was all grainy where you can't make out anybody's face. But this apparently was taken directly from the extraction of Libby's phone. So what we also saw was what they called a enhanced version of it. And then finally they showed us what they called a stabilized version. Now, when I first saw this, when it was released this week, I could not remember. I'm like, is this, I was hitting everybody up that was in court with me during that trial. I'm like, is this the original? Because when I watched the original in court, and I have all kinds of people saying, Bob said he couldn't see the bridge guy. And when you're looking at something that you've been waiting to see for 7 years in a court from 50 feet away on a 55-inch screen, and you're trying to soak in everything, like when you look at the beginning of that video, where now when you can watch it over and over, you can see that he's behind her, but she's kind of shielding his body initially until there's like Libby pulls back a little bit, and then you can see how far he is behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't see the dude initially. So then I'm kind of like, you're trying to take it all in, and you're like, wow. And then when I finally do see him, I thought he looked to be 10 yards back, maybe 30 feet behind her. And, when I saw that now in full display, I still think he's probably about 10 yards behind her.
Yeah.
And, then you're trying to figure out the concept of this picture that was floating around out on social media is another snap picture, the one with Abby alone out on the bridge. Okay, walking towards, if you're facing Abby, towards the right side of the tracks, kind of looking down, which you'd have to be to cross those railroad ties, and you don't see anybody behind her.
No.
The whole way. Do you know what picture I'm talking about?
I think so. I think I know.
Yeah,
what you're talking
like
about.
just if you Google it right now, you can find it while I'm talking, and you can throw it up. It's like Abby on Monon High Bridge alone. So at trial, we learned that they could not find that particular picture anywhere in the Snapchat cache of Libby's phone. They couldn't find it anywhere on the extraction. That was somehow found on the internet, but we don't know who posted that picture. So when you look at that picture in conjunction with where it appears that she's standing in that picture and how much of the north end is behind her, and you can kind of figure that she's closer to where Libby is than she is to the beginning of the north side of the trestle. So she's not too far from where Libby starts taking the video.
Yeah.
And then you have to try to figure out, well, where the hell does this guy come? This is not the type of bridge that you can run across.
No.
It's a railroad, an old defunct railroad trestle. So it's literally railroad tracks where you have between a 14 and 16-inch gap between railroad ties. Okay, so like you have to vary it, and on top of that, half of these ties are completely deteriorating. Some of them are missing completely. So this is a very treacherous, terrifying walk across this bridge. No one is jogging across it. No one. So it then leads you to the place, well, where is this guy? It appears that there it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, there's no bridge guy on that shot. So
Right.
yeah, like the only other thought I would have on this is, number one, it didn't appear on her phone. So that's weird in itself. So did somebody else take this? Is that the question?
Yes.
Basically. Okay. So if somebody else took it, yeah, I mean, who would that be? How would that be? How did the guy get there?
It could have been somebody that had access to her Snap account.
Or
but how do they get the picture is the $1 million question.
Yeah.
Because when I'm saying it's not in her Snap cache, I'm talking about the extraction of her phone.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that I have, and I'm actually Stacey Aldridge is going to be on our show next Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And she was the defense expert, the phone forensic expert on the case. And she's going to talk about everything that she testified to. So I'm going to ask her if that means, does what is in her Snapchat cache, is that the type of thing that you can extract with the use of Cellubrite? Or because the whole point of Snap is that the pictures disappear.
Yeah.
Whatever you're sending disappears unless you have it in the setting that it doesn't. And it also gives people the opportunity when you put it out there that they can grab a screen grab of it and they can save it down to their photos.
Yeah.
So, but my question is if this was taken with Libby's snap, would Cellubrite be able to extract it even if it had disappeared through the Snapchat application? Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Timestamp would be important on this too, like an authentic timestamp from the original.
Any kind of metadata, 100%.
Yeah, because this it could be easily explained that they were playing on the bridge for a while. Bridge guy just hasn't gotten there yet, and they were hanging out there for a little while, and then eventually that other guy is coming this way, and they decide to start moving forward because they see somebody coming, that's going to eventually pass them on the bridge. I don't think I'd really want to be next to anybody on that bridge that's going to pass me, so you're going to kind of keep moving.
So in here, if you're looking behind Abby and you look to the right side of the rail, you can see one of the two platforms.
Yeah.
Okay. Go back there. See that thing that's sticking out? Yep. Right where your little cursor is. Yep. That is one of the platforms. There's two of them. And if you look way, way beyond that to the left, you'll see the other one. Blow it up again.
It's about as big as I can blow it up right there. Let me pull it
so down. You see it. It's almost, you can see that thing sticking out that looks similar to the piece of wood that's sticking out right there.
Yep.
Exactly. Right. You see what I'm talking about? No, you had it. Move the hand up again. Like up
in this area.
It's on the left side there.
Yeah, exactly. It's right there. Yeah.
So that is the first platform. So if you're able to look and you can Google an aerial view of the Monon High Bridge, there are those two platforms, and they are at the opposite end of where she is at. You can see how far behind that is of her. So she is not hanging around just playing on that bridge. Libby obviously had a lot less fear in terms of crossing that bridge because she beat like when you're hearing about people talking about crossing that bridge, it's like people are like, yeah, but I got down on my hands and knees and crawled across it because it's that scary.
Yeah.
You're like 67 feet above a creek.
Yeah.
When you're over the creek, and when you're not over the creek, you're 67 feet above like ground.
On rotting wood.
On rotting wood. So it's a terrifying experience. So like Abby is not sitting chilling, hanging out, like posing for pictures there. She's trying to get across. My point is the only thing that makes sense to me is that the killer came past them from the south side of the bridge and then turned around when he got past both girls. That he pretended like he was walking by and then at some point hung a Yui and started following them.
Yeah.
And because it doesn't make any sense other way to it just doesn't add up. And if that's the case, I mean, to me, that's pretty exculpatory as to Richard Allen. Because he was not coming from that side of the bridge. Like that side of the bridge, where you'd park to get there is a long distance away from where Allen said he parked and from where the police are saying that he parked, which was the old CPS parking lot.
Yeah.
So like this is at the opposite end of that. Okay. So it doesn't really work for me in terms of it being Allen if they're going to stick with, well, this is where he parked and, that's where he was waiting. And then he's following him down the bridge. Because where is he in the other picture? That other picture tells the tale. Because what I'm saying is that the amount of time that it would have taken Abby to get to where we see her jog past Libby, because at that point she's clearly over where there's peril. Yeah. Like, because this track runs, it continues to run just normal tracks once you finish crossing the trestle itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then as soon as she got like right to the end of it, like anybody, when you're doing something like pretty scary and you kind of get to the very end of it, you kind of like rush your way through it and get the safety, right? I mean, that's a normal thing to do, which is exactly what she did.
Yep.
And you know, so we know that she's pretty close to that end, and there's just not enough time for that guy to make up all that space, all that distance in the time that it would have taken her from where the picture that you just showed to where she gets to safety, to where Libby's filming. So, I mean, for me, it just raises a ton of questions. Obviously, everybody on there, you know, that's watching this thing is trying to figure out exactly what's said. You know, you've got that confirmation bias thing where people have said, oh, yeah, oh, that's a gun. But then, you know, like I'm hearing people, I asked like Grok, I'm like, Grok, pretend like you're a court reporter and you're watching this video and can you give me a transcript of what's being said? And Grok's like, I cannot do that. I don't know. I am just a robot. I can read what the transcript, you know, and it's like, so, you know, there's going to be people that are going to be trying to break down exactly what is said, you know, because there's,
well, and the way
I don't, do you hear a gun being racked?
No.
See if you can put up, like,
I got it. I got yours. Let's take a look at it.
Throw it up there. Let's see. I think the sound's significantly better.
Here we go.
See, this is the path. There's no path going there, so we have to go down here. See, this is the
Guys.
path.
Yeah.
There's no path going there, so we have to go down here.
Guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
So that video, it looks like it repeats, right? It's not just
right. That, like, I think my buddy made it like repeat 2 times. So it's a 43-second video total.
Yeah.
And like I don't hear a gun rack at all.
No.
But in that particular video, I've got another one that I'm going to send you to that you can check out when we're done. But in that one, you can hear the rocks crunching.
Yeah.
Under her feet
a
lot more. And, you know, there's this point in time where he asks a question, or she's saying she talks about the path 2 times. Okay. And the first time she's like, I forget what she says. Here, go back on it. And it's before the second, to play it in regular speed.
Let me play the one I have, the original, at regular speed. It is right here. All right, let's take a look.
See, this is the path.
See, I'm not hearing the rocks crunching on yours either.
I am.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. And that's it. It's just there's a rock crunching, but they're trying to debate how to get down the hill, and then he goes, "Hey guys, down the hill." Almost like, are you trying to figure out how to get down the hill? I mean, again, I don't get anything out of that where it's like he's trying to pressure them to go down the hill. It just seems like somebody passing by and like, oh yeah, down the hill, path is over there, whatever. It doesn't seem incriminating to me.
And that's the thing when I'm talking about, like in that one portion where she starts talking about the path first, that's where Tony Liggett at trial testified that he claims that he hears that be a gun.
It's not. That's not in there. I know. I listen. Oh, there's nothing in there that says that.
Right. And what I've heard is when she'll say something about the path and there's a pause. And then the question is that Abby who says something, or is that Libby finishing what she's saying?
Yeah.
And then she talks about the path again. So
I don't know. I watch this and I see nothing. I don't even know why there's this everybody's stuck on this being the murderer. Like, I don't know. Like, it's the only piece that they have from the last moments that the girls were alive, but it doesn't mean that the guy in that video is the killer. That seems like a very far reach that was made very early on that was simply just accepted and nobody really questioned it a whole lot. And I get kind of why the way it was presented to the public as this guy is telling them to go down the hill. He's not. They're talking about how to get down the hill before the guy even gets close enough for them to hear him. They're the ones that want to go down the hill.
So you're saying guys is just like, hey
hey guys,
because they say hi.
Yeah. It seems like
says,
just a pleasant, you're just passing somebody on the woods and you see two girls that look kind of confused and they're trying to figure out where to get to their trail, which appears to be exactly what's happening. And if you know the trails and you walk around there and they're, hey guys, they're like looking down there, down the hill. I
mean, it certainly doesn't sound nefarious.
No, it doesn't.
People are like, oh, they sound terrified. I'm like, I'm not hearing that. They don't.
They sound like, hey, oh, the path isn't over here. That I would not, if I knew nothing about this case and somebody showed me that video, I'd be like, and? What am I watching here? Two girls hiking and a guy? I mean, creepy looking bridge.
And that's what I'm seeing. Like when it gets out there that law enforcement is saying that they hear her saying, that be a gun. Like that begins to be the thing that you think you hear.
And
it's like, you know what
the brain works.
It's like that. Right. Exactly. It's like that Yanny Laurel thing.
Yeah.
Remember that thing like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Like Allison hears Yanny and I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't hear anything even remotely close. It's clearly Laurel.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I don't know, man.
It's how our brains work.
It's out.
Yeah.
Now that it's out, there's going to be people that know a hell of a lot more about, audio files. They're going to be working to clean that up as much as humanly possible, doing the work that should have been done on this audio by law enforcement over the past 7 years.
I'm going to play with it too. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but we're going to put it into Audition and really try and massage this thing down. I just don't see where this, other than let's tell the public this. They edited the damn video. They moved the audio to a different place of where it is, and in the original, in the 6-second clip, to put down the hill at a very ominous place in the video where it just isn't. That to me is like, why are you doing that? If you're going to release just the little clip of the guy, then just release a little clip of the guy. If you want the part where you hear him saying something, then release the whole damn thing. But then you'd also have to contextually take out the two girls not sounding remotely worried or scared, and them actually being the first ones who are trying to figure out how to get down the hill before the guy even says anything. It's just, they worked it. They completely flipped this video around, presented it in a different way. The public went going, oh gosh, this is horrible. And it's not at all. It's like just editing a promo to make something sound like spooky or you're more intrigued by it. You can edit anything to make things sound worse than they actually are. And that's exactly what appears to have happened in this video.
100%.
I am
and
baffled.
It's like, why aren't they like, why did they elect to only put out that 3-second clip of just him instead of the whole video?
Well, and you're trying, especially in a case that took years to finally go after anybody and get charges. Wouldn't you be putting out anything you could in its entirety for anybody to take a look at and go, what can we make sense of? But if they put it out just in that little way, that creates a different narrative. And it makes this guy look a hell of a lot more ominous than he actually is. And again, the guy looks like Ron Logan. If you compare the gait and everything to him, he doesn't appear to be Richard Allen at all, as from what you can tell. And again, you can't completely say it's Ron Logan, but we've shown the graphics before side by side, and they're pretty compelling. I just don't. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, other than, again, another piece in this case that looks like it's been manipulated for another reason, and I don't know what that reason is. It's
just another mystery. In this case, that's full of them. It's like, and so in related news, Judge Gull has denied the final 2 motions.
Shocking.
That were filed by the defense, which was the motion to preserve and produce, and then, of course, the motion to reconsider, the motion to correct errors. So that, and as of today, the notice of appeal has been filed, and the clerk has filed the notice of completion of the court's records. So the appeal's up and running. It's now officially out of Judge Gull's hands up and until if they're granted a new trial, then in theory, she would be sitting on the judge unless the appellate court says, well, we're going to kick it back, but this time we're going to use a different judge.
Does the appellate court have the authority to do that? Or let me ask you that question. They do? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If they think that the judge just made some critical errors, I mean, the appellate court could seek to have it tried in front of another judge.
It wouldn't necessarily automatically go back to Gull, and she wouldn't have the opportunity to recuse herself. It would just simply be, we're getting a different judge. It's not your choice anymore.
Well, if the opinion is silent as to like her trying it or her overseeing it again, then she's the judge. Yeah. And then it's going to be up to her as to whether or not she's going to do it again.
Sure. Time window on something like this, now that that's been filed, where does that go?
Well, the next step is the brief. Allen's brief has to be prepared. They have to get the full record, meaning all the exhibits put together, which I'm sure they're working furiously on right now. And once that is done, and I'm sure that appellate counsel is already working on their brief. They're working on identifying all the issues. They do that by going through the transcripts of all the hearings and the trial. They identify the issues that they think exist. They put together their brief. That will probably take a few months, 3, 4, 5 months. There are deadlines, but they usually can get extensions. Once they get it done, the response brief is due. And then after that, there may be a reply brief. But then once the court is fully briefed, then they start reading through it, and they'll decide if they want oral arguments or not. And if they do, there'll be a date set for oral arguments. I've heard that in Indiana, like the range is anywhere from 12 to 18 months.
All right, you're in for a good conversation. Bob Motta, defense attorney and host of the podcast Defense Diaries, is with us, and we are going to be digging deep into the very latest developments in the Delphi case. But in case you're just joining us, before we go to Bob, let me get you a little bit more caught up on what's going on. Judge Fran Gull has officially denied multiple requests from Richard Allen's defense team to overturn his conviction in the Delphi murder case. What this means is that Allen's lawyers They just hit another major roadblock in the fight to clear his name, but it was kind of expected she was going to deny everything because that's kind of the only mode she has. Allen, who was convicted of killing Abby Williams and Libby German in 2017, had his attorneys filed a motion on January 20th arguing that serious mistakes were made in the case. They claimed there were problems with the timeline, which there was, false testimony, which there was, and even evidence that another person confessed, which there is. They also raised concerns about how the police handled key cell phone data pieces in the investigation. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. The defense team later filed another motion on February 14th, pushing back against the prosecution's objections. However, Judge Gull denied both motions without even holding a hearing. But wait, there's more! Richard Allen's defense team dropped another bombshell legal motion that has not yet, at least of this recording, has been denied by Gull. This one might be harder to deny, in a fair world. In this legal motion, it's exposing the potential suppression of exculpatory evidence. An inmate, Reese Davis, claims that Ron Logan confessed to the murders and implicated two other people, and yet those claims, along with Davis's multiple letters to the prosecution, were allegedly buried before Allen's trial. Now, with fresh allegations here that Keegan Kline may also have privately admitted some sort of involvement, the entire case is on very, very shaky ground. We're going to go back, and we're going to get to all of this, but we're going to start with the initial motions that Judge Gull denied just earlier to those first four, the motions that involved the basically accusations that things had not gone correctly, the errors that he was trying to point out. Bob, let's get your thoughts on where all this is.
Yeah, right. No one's surprised. It was kind of par for the course. Again, denied without hearing, which has been her MO during this entirety of the case. But it's interesting from the perspective that even though these have been denied, and really probably the most significant motion that was denied was the motion to correct errors, which is which raised all of the issues about the van and the video that existed that showed that the van actually appeared at a much later time than the state presented at trial. We're talking like a matter of like 15, 17 minutes, which, when you take that into consideration in terms of when the state claims that the time of death was, which was around 2:32, that 17 minutes becomes a very big deal.
Yeah.
In the scope of things, 17 minutes isn't anything. In a trial like this, where they presented a very tight timeline, it becomes a big deal. So while it's been denied, the important thing from the perspective of the law is that the issues have been raised for appeal. So those all exist for the purposes of the appeal. The appellate court's going to be able to look at those issues. Had that not been filed, none of that would have been contemplated by the appellate court. So in that sense, I wasn't surprised at all that Gull had denied it. And,
they basically had to go through the motions of doing it for later down the road.
Exactly. They had to preserve the issues.
Yep.
So you have to do that all the time. And at trial, pre-trial hearings, like when you see these motions being filed, when you see objections that are being made, those are always for the purposes of preserving issues for appeal. So, yeah, that was again, not surprising. She basically denied everything that was pending. Okay, and there were a couple of preservation motions that were still pending. And she also, the only thing that's still alive, which I know that we'll probably get to, is the motion that was most recently filed, which was the motion, again, to preserve evidence regarding Reese Davis.
And that's really an interesting point of this whole thing. This is brand new. I mean, this was filed on Valentine's Day. And this motion basically says that Reese Davis. He was in there with Ron Logan and Keegan Kline for a time as well. Ron Logan, obviously the person whose property the girls were found on, who the FBI looked at and said, I think that might be your guy. Did a whole investigation, raided his house, raided his property, gave all the info over to Delphi investigators, and Delphi investigators said, bye. We don't need you anymore, and we're not going to do anything with all this info you just gave us. And then you got Keegan Kline, who is in prison for child porn charges, who was also traced to possibly trying to link up with one of the girls the day of the murder. Some key people in this that were never officially charged and never officially connected to the crime itself. The allegation is Ron Logan made these confessions to Reese Davis in court, or in prison rather, and that Keegan Kline may have also made some confessions or some admissions recently as well. Again, these are all accusations coming from an inmate that was with these guys, correct?
Yep, and it's interesting because the way that this plays out, there's a bunch of angles to this, right? There's the first angle is you've got a convicted felon who's serving a 50-year bid for allegedly distributing meth. I actually read through the opinion. He had actually called law enforcement on himself because he was in the throes of like a meth high. And, I think it's kind of well known that within, that community in terms of addiction with meth, that there's a lot of self-reporting goes on just because of how it affects your mind. So at any rate, cops come over, raid the house. They don't find that he's actually got a lab going. He's not cooking, but they find all the precursor ingredients for him to make meth. That doesn't mean he was cooking it there, but they charged him as if he was, and it was within 1,000 feet of a school. So they hammered him. So the dude's doing, 50 years. What was significant to me about that, the guy's doing his time. I'm not sweating him on that. Is that when you have a situation where you've got kind of a snitching thing happening here, and you're wondering whether or not the guy's telling the truth, right? I mean, because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what matters most. Is this guy full of it, or is it like what's his game? What is he looking to get from this? And the fact that his bid is on a drug charge really, to me, doesn't impact my ability to be able to believe that he's being truthful about this, as opposed to like a crime of dishonesty. Like if you've got a crime of dishonesty, that the guy is a liar, because the crime's involved. So because this isn't that, and I just can't see any kind of end game for him where he stated, I'm not looking for anything. I'm not looking for them to shave any time off my sentence.
Yeah.
So then you combine those things, and I just can't see what he's getting from doing this, from making this all up from whole cloth, because the notoriety thing that I've heard some people, he just wants to get the new. No, I'm not buying that. He's putting himself in peril in prison as being a snitch. Yeah. Maybe not with Keegan Kline, because Keegan, but if you're a snitch in the joint, you're in peril, man. So he's put himself at risk for seemingly no gain. Yeah. Which to me lends credibility and credence to what he's saying.
Well, and he's seen what happens to people in jail who speak about this case in any way, shape, or form that may not go along with the official story, like Richard Allen. Let's put him into solitary confinement for years, and then we get a like he's risking a lot, not just as being a snitch where someone on the inside could go after him, but I think I'd be more concerned on the outside and where they might take him now, or how they might try and shut him up or intimidate him to be quiet going forward, because this is a lot. He's writing to the TV stations now. Actually, one of them reached out to me yesterday with one of the letters wanting to talk about it, and he's not shutting up, and I think he thinks he's trying to fight this battle for someone who is wrongfully accused.
100%. And it's like when you kind of look at the timing of it, in terms of like his ability to make up what he originally said. Because remember, this started in March of 2017.
Yes, this isn't new.
Okay. This isn't new. Like, so meaning that when he's talking about these things that Ron Logan allegedly told him about the girls being on the bridge, and that, like the whole animal story, and that they, he got him back, and that, he was worried that Abby was upset because he put his hand on her shoulder, and, how the whole thing devolved to where he felt like he had to kill the girls because he's on probation, and how he does it, with the knife, the box cutter to the necks. I mean, in March of 2017, none of that was available to the public.
No,
none of it. And there may have been a situation where people on Reddit were speculating, like there's always been allegations that were leaks that were made, but this dude's not privy to it.
No,
like he's in the joint at that point. This is way before the Franks memo.
Yes.
So like the point being that this guy didn't have these type of details to be able to fabricate this story out of whole cloth. I mean, those are the kind of things that when you look at it, you're like, all right, I mean, yeah, you got to weigh the fact that he's a convict, and, I mean, that's going to be used against him because it always is in courts. But when you kind of look at the facts surrounding it, in terms of how he would have come up the information, it seems credible to me.
It does, because he's coming up with information he otherwise couldn't know. So I guess that's the big part to explain. How would he know about the box cutters? And look, and these other folks that he's alleging in this thing, like, yeah, we've all kind of wondered about what the involvement was, if any, because it all doesn't seem to add up very well. That it's pure luck that Keegan Kline was communicating with one of the girls, and they just happened to die that day. What weird coincidence that is. That, right. Logan's on the property, and he makes up, he literally comes up with an alibi before anyone knows the girls are murdered. And that's not a red flag to anybody. And his phone shows him on the property where the girls died while they died. And that's not a big red flag to anybody. I don't really see a whole huge reason why this guy would be making this up. But again, it is what it is. The big thing that we've heard out of Delphi when they try to dismiss his letters here is, oh, he failed the polygraph miserably. Consider the source. Who administered the polygraph? Could it have been the same folks who don't want this information seemingly getting out? At least that's how it appears. And they're the ones who are saying he failed. Can we get this done by an independent third party maybe and see just how much he fails it then?
Exactly. I mean, who was the examiner? When did
this take place?
Right. All those things. And like, are we all of a sudden acting like polygraphs are some kind of like infallible lie detecting machine? I mean, if they were, we'd be using them in court all the time.
That and the fact he offered to wear a wire.
Right.
Now, that to me is the other part where it's like, look, this guy really is not trying to make shit up. He's offering to wear a wire. He offered it to him several times, and they said, no, sir, we don't need that. You don't need to do that. I mean, that's somebody who really is trying to help you. Why would you turn that down? If you are the investigator on this case, it's 2017 back here when we're talking. There is no Richard Allen that's on the radar yet. There's no charges against Richard Allen other than there's nothing even there other than the fact that he raised his hand and said, hey, I was there. I'll be happy to give you any information. And then they forget about that. So you have this train that needs to go somewhere, but they're ignoring all of these pieces of evidence that are just being spoon-fed to them and saying, nah, we're good. We're not even going to look into it. We're not even going to consider it. Why?
It's inexplicable.
Does this happen in other cases where they just, no, we don't care. We don't want to hear any of this evidence?
I mean, yes, where they've developed tunnel vision on a suspect, but like you're saying, that wasn't the case here.
We weren't in tunnel vision yet.
They were right.
Yeah.
There was nobody. They had their designs on nobody at that point. I cannot come up. And as far as I know, Ron Logan was never cleared.
No. As far as I know as well. I've talked to the FBI, and the FBI says the same thing. Nobody really, I don't believe he was ever officially cleared other than dying. Right. And that still doesn't clear him. So,
right. You know, but at that time, when they certainly liked him to the extent that they executed the search warrant, they went in, you know, it's like, how are you just ignoring it? Unless there exists something, which again would have to be in the discovery. If there was a way that they said, you know what, due to the search warrant and what we recovered there, we're confident that this guy didn't do it. Like there would have been some semblance of evidence found on his property. And we feel, I mean, aside from the girls themselves, right? You know, I mean,
something that negates the fact that the girls are on his property cleaned up, the fact that he had to make up a fake alibi and got caught doing that, the fact that his cell phone data shows him at the scene of the crime, there'd have to be something that negates all of that.
100%, like all of it. And I mean, did they check the fire pit? Did they check to see if there were any kind of remains from clothing that had been burnt? Which McClellan misstated, like he just completely made up the fact that Reese Davis said that Logan told him he burned the girls' clothes when he said he burned his own clothes. But, you know, like McClellan conflated that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean, because that's everything that has gone on in this case is like exactly why, if you were to make a list from A to Z in terms of just the shady shit that has gone on in this case. If people are wondering why so many people are questioning this conviction, look at the list. Yeah. Like this isn't you and I trying to spread a fucking, like a narrative here, man. Like this is shit that has gone on, like unequivocally. And you can look at it starting from just the botched investigation and working its way all the way through trial, man. And it's like, look, if you're sitting out there and you feel comfortable about this verdict and how this thing went down, God bless you. You know, like I don't want to live in that country. I don't want to live where that becomes the norm of how our criminal justice system works. If you do, then we're going to have to agree to disagree, because that is not how this system is set up to work.
No.
What happened to this guy? I mean, if this isn't a railroad job, it's going to be the biggest series of coincidences that I've ever seen in my life in regard to anything.
Yeah.
Because there is just every single element of a railroad job exists here to where I just can't get past it. I just can't get past it. And I can't help but think that this guy just got railroaded. And he could be guilty. I don't know.
No. But we won't know because we're
way.
But how have we never looked at all of these pieces of evidence, and why not? You have there is so much here that points. This is in many ways this is reminiscent to me of the Ellen Greenberg case in a way where the power just basically says, nope, you're wrong, we're going away, we're looking the other way, la 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 la, 20 stab wounds, post-mortem, she had to be a zombie to kill herself, la la la, not true, we can't, well, it's true, but we're just not going to address it. It's just like, we're just not going to address it. We're not going to handle anything the way that we're supposed to in this country. We're just going to, hopefully you go away and everyone else gets sick of it as well. Luckily, we're not there anymore, and people pay attention well beyond just, it coming out of the headlines. But my God,
I mean, thank God for us.
Thank God for people giving a shit online.
That's the point, right? It's like if we're not out there squawking, and I'm talking about guys like you and I and everybody else that does that's putting news that doesn't exist on legacy media out there and giving just way more detail than they have time to give on legacy media. Mm-hmm. If you're watching a news report on your local TV news, you're getting a 3 to 4 minute piece that's going to be very truncated and it's going to be very limited. Whereas now you've got guys like you and I that sit here and talk about this shit for hours.
Yeah.
And we're digging into it in a way that just never existed before.
There's no excuse not to be informed on a topic like this. If you're going to have an opinion, great, but you have to be informed on it, and you can't just walk away going, well, they said it's this, it must be true. In this case, it's not. There's a lot of shit here that just blows your mind, and it gets crazier and crazier every single day. Okay, so the new motion that's been filed, the one about Reese, I read the whole thing today. It's on the podcast if somebody wants to go back, or on YouTube and absorb it verbally. It's all there. Where does this go from here? Is this another one that gets thrown in front of Judge Gull?
To me, this is the one that requires an answer from Nick McClelland, because this one has Brady implications.
Yeah.
Right. So, the other stuff is stuff that she can just say, well, you know what? I don't need to have a hearing on this. I can just rule on it. But where they've alleged that McClelland has failed to turn over exculpatory evidence, which, I mean, you can't and this plays out a couple of ways, Tony. It's like it's definitely exculpatory in nature, right? Because you've got another guy who is obviously got some details that it appears that only the killer would know. But kind of the bigger point of it is that in a situation like this, had they been tendered that evidence at the proper time, that they would have been able to walk into that day of hearings with what I think would have been more compelling to Gull in terms of the Ron Logan information. So, and potentially been able to put Reese Davis on the stand to testify so that she can judge his credibility and have because I mean, I don't see where she's going to have there was no nexus to lean on to deny them being able to put that on at trial. So, and you have to think, so just play that through.
Yeah.
So say that they had these letters, they put Reese Davis on, and I had Andrew Baldwin on our channel last night. He came back on to talk about this. And I mean, the plan would have been to get Reese in there during that 3 days of hearings, to have him testify as to what Ron Logan told him and to what Kagan Klein told him, that basically corroborated what Ron Logan told him, and have her sit there and say, all right, okay. And even if she would have said again, no, still you've made the record.
Yeah.
You've made the record, which would make it even more implausible for the appellate court to look at it and be like, yeah, this guy got a fair trial. You know what I mean? The more that you could pile on the front end in terms of things that she just got wrong. And I don't know how she could say, considering that the girls were found on Ron Logan's property, that there was no nexus. Because the standard, Tony, is not that you have to solve the crime as the defense attorneys. That makes no sense.
No.
Because if you're having to solve, if I've solved the crime, there exists no such thing as a third-party culprit defense, because if I've solved it in the way that she's requiring, well, there was no DNA found. There was no, you couldn't prove that they were if I was able to do that to the extent where law enforcement made the arrest, well, they're going to dismiss the charges against my guy because they got a better suspect. So when am I bringing forward that third-party culprit defense? This whole concept of having to solve the crime in order to be able to put that kind of defense on in front of her in her courtroom is crazy.
Yeah,
it just is. I've never heard of any other judge doing it like that. I've heard of judges, hey, I want to keep you on a really tight leash. This isn't you just going in there and willy-nilly talking about somebody that has no kind of nexus to this at all. These are it's just, if you, a nexus is not solving the crime.
No.
And that's the way. So that whole Reese Davis thing. So if it turns out, and it goes one of three ways, right? It's either McClelland knew about it in terms of the letters, and remember, the letters came way later in the game.
Yeah.
The video, which the defense never got, and Baldwin sent an email early, and by his own admission, he's like, I wish I would have followed up on it. I dropped the ball.
But there's a record of requesting it back then. That's part of it too. It's not like this is just some new thing that Reese is saying that wasn't documented at an earlier date.
Correct. And you've got the video, and then years later, that's when the letters come, when they make the arrest, and Davis goes through his whole thought processes on why he wasn't very talkative the first time that Andy Baldwin went with him, because he's like, I don't know that Richard Allen's not the third guy.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't until after the trial, when the evidence starts coming out that he's clearly following it, you know, that the letter writing campaign starts. And I think it started a little bit before trial, after the arrest. So, you know, he's sending these letters out to McClelland, and you sit there and you think, well, why would he send it to McClelland as opposed to the defense? You know, and I think that the answer to that is like, you're going to the guy who's charging a guy that you're saying is innocent.
You're thinking you're doing the right thing. You think you're going like here, this, if you're a straightforward prosecutor and you're not covering something up, or you don't just have blinders on it, I don't know which it is, or all of the above with him, you would go, oh, holy shit, we got to look into this. Not go away. We don't, and it not, you can only give me 2 paragraphs. Huh? I mean, what the hell is that? Where he wants to convey this information, writing it down. You can only do 2 paragraphs. Like, I have a lot of info here. Like, you should probably hear it. It may take more than 2 paragraphs. Nope, just 2.
I know, man. it's the whole thing. I mean, but so here's the way this is going to boil down. So it's the one thing that she did not deny today. Yeah. In her series of denials. It's the one thing that's pending. And I think that she did that because I think McClelland has to answer it. And you know, I'm not going to even say it, but like so one of 3 things happened here. It's either McClelland had him and he committed a Brady violation by not turning him over, or 2, that he had him, but it was so close to trial, this is what I think he's going to say. But that he had him, they came in, and that he never looked at him, you know, that they were prepping for trial. This was in the months leading up to trial. He didn't have a spare minute, and he was done looking at shit. You know, like if it wasn't relating to Richard Allen, he wasn't looking at it. So that, you know, he just didn't look at him to send him. Like that, I think, will be his plausible deniability. And then, you know, the other is that, you know, he just never got the letters, which is the thing that Andy Baldwin fears most. You know, like if you're the defense attorney and you're basically calling Brady on a prosecutor, it's a big deal. You know, I mean, it's a really big deal. I mean, that, like, Brady violations end careers for prosecutors. So it's, you don't tread lightly. You're doing your due diligence. They're double, triple checking, making sure that they never got these things. And Andy, when he fires off that motion, felt confident that they never got him. Yeah. You know, so, but if McClelland turns around and says, oh, we never got him, then it's going to become incumbent upon Andy to be able to prove that they did. And now he's claiming that he's got a third-party witness that is going to be able to corroborate that McClelland's office did receive those letters. So, you know, I mean, like, and the reality is that the letters exist, and if he got them, it doesn't matter what reason, even if it's the plausible deniability reason, it's still Brady material. It's still material that would have potentially change the outcome of the trial. You know, I mean, you have to sit here and think, if that jury had another person, namely Ron Logan, to point the finger at, oh my God, well, the girls were found on that guy's property. Oh my God, he lied about his alibi. Oh my God, you know, and oh my God, he knew about facts that only the killer would know. I mean, you have to imagine, had they been able to present that at trial, that there very likely could have been a different result.
Yeah, you're just inept at doing your job if you didn't pay attention to that.
Right, it's ineffective assistance if you're ignoring it. And that's what Andy's response was. Yeah. He's like, I took the risk, but I'm ineffective if I don't. You know, like, this guy's told me this information. I have to assume that it's true. I'm going to assume that it's true. It seemed credible to me. You know, I did my due diligence. It doesn't appear that we received it. And, you know, and then I asked Nick flat out. I asked him, before I filed this. Did you get the letters? Simple answer, yes or no. Did you receive the letters? Yes or no. If so, when? When did you receive them? Simple answer. Nick didn't respond. Yeah. So it's been over this long weekend, and we've heard nothing. So, I mean, out of all the denials, the fact that she left that one open and pending, I thought was a good sign.
Could she just deny that one too and just say nope, and then nobody has to look into this period? Or would it, will it take something larger to have this investigated? Or does she have the power, like she has with everything else, just to say, oh, got a lot of good points there, but nope.
And
then what?
I don't know, man. It's like, Gull is at the point where she's so dug in. And I think that she believes that they got it right. Like, I think that in her heart, she believes that Richard Allen's the guy, like, despite everything that she's heard. Like, she just...
Is she not paying... Is she not with the same... Is she not watching the same thing everybody else is?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. But at this point, she's willing to let the appellate court deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's it. So,
and obviously that's eventually where it will likely end up. If he never got the letters, what does that say? Where would they have gone? Who would have stopped them?
Like, no one. You would think that, and we've had this discussion, whether or not when the letters are going out, if they're not legal mail, they're typically not sealed because they're typically scanning them in. So either Newcastle scanned these things in or somebody at the prison saw them, but like Andy trying to track that down. And then your other source is whoever takes the mail for the prosecutor's office over there.
Yeah.
Whoever's sitting in front. Like, people are going to know.
Yeah.
Like, if they try to ghost the letters, like if I'm Cleveland, I probably made a bunch of calls over to Newcastle to try to figure out what their protocol is. If in fact he got him and just didn't turn him over, like his smartest move would be like, I got him, but we just I didn't realize that we had him. I was way too deep into prepping for trial.
And if he were to come forward and make that admission and say, look, we just messed up, didn't look at him, what would the next step be? What would the correct, not saying what's going to happen, what would the correct next step be if even the prosecutor says, yeah, we got them, they're here, we didn't do anything with them?
The next step is that essentially you're relying on the appellate court to say, all right, well, this existed. It wasn't turned over, no matter what the reason. We're not going to say it's a Brady, but it existed. It's clearly exculpatory or potentially exculpatory. I think it gets him a new trial.
Does Gull have any place in this process of it getting to an appellate court where that could take place?
It's part of the record now. So if she denies it, it's part of the record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The mere fact that it was filed, I would hope that she would preserve or, order it all to be preserved. But, the bottom line is that thank God the guy himself is alive.
Yeah. For now.
Right. As much as I'd like, for now, as much as I'd like to see the letters, at least he's still alive for now. Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out.
Let's go to speculation land a little bit. Because
I got a dip, dude.
You do?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Okay.
I've got Jason Flom waiting for me, and I thought it was supposed to be at 2. She gave me she knows I'm fucking central too, and she's like, it's 2 o'clock. I'm like, 2 my time. She's like, are you joining? And I'm like, oh my god.
Okay.
So I apologize. No. We'll make up for it on Friday.
Okay. Yeah. Well, sounds good. We'll go Friday.
All right, brother.
All right. I'll talk to you later, bud.
All right, be good.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right, bye.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.